I got Vincent Bragg in the building. Okay?
Hey.
Long overdue. Now, if you heard the name before, you know, you're not going crazy. He has definitely been on our platform before. You know what I mean? But we going to get into that. But brother is here now. What's up, bro?
Man, it's your world. I'm just living in it.
Nah, it's our world.
That's right.
And we trying not to go nuts, okay? But yeah, I definitely appreciate you for pulling up on us. You know what I mean? This is, you know, it's definitely, you know, some of my interviews that I do definitely hit home. This one definitely hits home. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna get into it. So we got the brother Vincent Bragg on the line. Okay, if you don't know him, you finna get to know him. So let's get into it, bruh. Tell him a little bit about yourself and where you from.
Yeah, so I'm from South Central Los Angeles, a place known as Watts, California. Essentially, I think my story kind of begins. I ended up going to federal prison for, you know, being a cocaine cowboy, if you will. United States of America frowned upon said behavior and put me on what I like to call an adult timeout. Mm-hmm. And so during that adult timeout, I was able to kind of like re-educate myself. I was able to study law, and corporate law, and real estate law, and read a bunch of books and write some books, and happened to be in prison with the founder of this underwear company called MeUndies. Mm-hmm. Me and my co-founder, my cohorts, we gave him a couple ideas. He sold 10 million pairs of underwear, and it sparked this idea in us that we could do it for other brands. And so our claim to fame is that we started an advertising agency while in prison that now employs formerly incarcerated and incarcerated men and women across the country. And we work with some of the biggest brands on the planet, from brands like Google, Meta, Trojan, Adidas, Indeed, United Airlines, like you name it. We happen to put ourselves in the center of the advertising world.
For sure, bro. And I'm going to tell you, you know what I'm saying? Part of the reason for this platform is to showcase what people are doing behind the wall, but after. You know what I mean? Because you know how it's set up. You know, they think anybody that's been, you know, incarcerated, they have all of these scenarios in their head about who they are. But that's not who we are. That's not who you have to be. You are yourself, and, you know, the dream can come true. And you're one of those people that came out and hit the ground running. You know what I mean? So we appreciate the fact that not only that you're doing what you need to do for you, but you are inspiration and a motivation for those that are behind the wall that think they can't do nothing or they can't be nothing after incarceration. And you know, that's just not true. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and I also think it's like a fraternity. You know what I'm saying? So you got cats that come out the joint who might not necessarily have a direction or the know-how to necessarily make their idea or their dream happen, right? And so when you think about the fraternity, it's other individuals out here that's actually doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I think for me, when I came home, I didn't necessarily have the direction. So a lot of it kind of just unfolded in its own way. Mm-hmm. But it's individuals out here like you could tap in with, like, yo, how do I get in touch with such and such? Or how do I make this an idea? Or what's the strategy that I could implement to make something like this happen?
For sure. Because we the bridge. And I'm going to tell you something about you, bro, that I seen in you that I haven't even told you. This should be the first time. The first time I met you, we had met up for a celebratory event, just come through event. I got the time to show up for my peoples. You know what I'm saying? So we was already, you know, vibing with that. But you would step outside and you took the time to take those calls from behind the G wall. You know what I'm saying? And that matters. I always say that the people behind the wall, they need people out here that can see them, feel them, and hear them, and help their dreams come true. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's a fact.
that's just a testament to, you know, the real you for real. But we gonna get into it. But you know
Now
what I'm saying?
I remember being on a speaking engagement, and I got a call from behind the wall, and I just kind of like asked the crowd, like I'm sitting talking in front of hundreds of people.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, I don't want to not take the call, so can I take the call? Everybody's like, yeah, take the call. So I ended up taking the call, like holding the microphone up so people could hear him. And,
Yeah.
you know, I asked him a question. He was able to you know, actually show the crowd like his level of intelligence. Like, he answered the question eloquently. You know, and a lot of times, like, that's what I believe in. Creativity without opportunity is what leads to criminality. Like, a lot of times we just need the opportunity. Like, without the opportunity, you know, it's easy to do things that's going to land you back behind walls.
Absolutely.
It's an easy thing to do. So, you know, given the opportunity, it puts us in a position to see life differently, to see ourselves differently, and to see each other differently.
And absolutely. And you know how it is behind the wall. Like, you about to give somebody about 2 or 3 good calls, and if they don't answer, you're going to stop calling. You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to do too much. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, no doubt.
The support out here matters. Sometimes just answering that call, they're like, yo, I'm finna flash out. I don't even care. Let me call somebody. They call us for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
No,
so,
I agree. You know, sometimes it's just to mull over ideas. You know, you got cats like, hey, like, I'm thinking about this. You know, you got 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying, depending on where they at, like 15 minutes to really give them your undivided attention. And what's 15 minutes out of your life, or what's 45 minutes out of your life if you're taking 3-4 calls a day, an hour out of your life?
Thank you. Absolutely.
Because
I don't know about you. I'm sure you're more busy than me, but I can lose an hour, and I can't tell you what I did with it.
No, I think it's really about perspective. Like, even when you're behind them walls, like, everything is kind of designed in 50-minute increments. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got a 10-minute move or a 5-minute move, you know what I'm saying? That really gives you a kind of, you know, situation where you can understand how to map out your day and how to map out your life. So if you are, you know, dedicating that opportunity, and again, it might only be, you know, 4 calls a week, right? It might only be 5 calls a week, you know, and so you're really looking at 15 minutes spread out over a week, you know what I'm saying? An hour over a week, and it's really nothing. Now, I could understand, like, if you just not in a position to talk, but, like, if you can like take a call, like, that's just it means everything. A lot of these dudes don't get mail. You know, people not writing them, people not putting money on their books. Like, you get in there, it's like being in a living grave.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. It matters. You know what I mean? For those that are listening, pick up for your people, man.
No, that's important.
It don't take nothing. Let them ride with you. I've been in positions where I don't have no work to do for you, but I'm here to listen. I'm going to let you ride with me through the hood. I'm going to drop some gems on you while I'm out here. I'm going to let you see the human me, because I'm human. And when you're incarcerated, they try to take your human from you. Sometimes you need to feel somebody to let you know you're not crazy, to let you know that you are still human. I ain't got to tell you.
Yeah.
You already know, bro. So let's get into, you know what I'm saying, like, the things that we can look up and name. Because you do a lot. You done did a lot for me. Don't get me in my feelings, because I'm going to start crying, and it's that what we here for. But, you know, convince, create. Am I saying that right?
Creates, yeah. Convicts that create.
Yeah, convicts that create. The first time that I heard about you was through Tia. Shout out to T. She got the state versus us. She out here in the city. She doing real things. But when I heard it come back to me through somebody else about what you was doing, I just smiled, bruh. This is the first time you hearing it. I was happy. Because when you're in the work, you're in the work. You know what I mean? So tell people about, what is that? What is Convicts Create? And, what was the brainchild behind that? Like, how did it come to be?
Well, yeah, like I said before in the beginning is, we in federal prison, in prison with the founder of an underwear company, came up with a couple ideas. He sold 10 million pairs of underwear, and it kind of sparked this idea that we could do it for other brands. And so, like, my co-founder, who was in there for allegedly robbing 27 banks, like, I started looking at him different, right? I didn't look at him as a bank robber. I started looking at him as a strategist. I wasn't looking at these tattoo artists as tattoo artists. I was looking at them as art directors.
Right.
And all of these kind of positions that they already had the skill set to fulfill.
Exactly.
And so that's what it became, is like, they're really just transferable skill sets, because most criminality, most crimes come out of, like, solving a problem. And that's
exactly
essentially what a creative agency does for a brand, is they solve a problem for a brand, whether that's as simple as, hey, we need to sell more soda, or we need to figure out how to talk to this population of people. Right. We're solving those problems. And a lot of times when we were growing up, that's what we were doing. We were solving problems, whether it was paying bills, putting somebody through school, whatever. We're still solving these same real world problems. And
right.
So, like, I found this particular industry to be lucrative for individuals like us, because most creative agencies don't necessarily run a background check. They don't really care. They care if you can do art design, right? They care if you can,
right.
Come up with good ideas, or do strategy or planning, or, all of those kind of different things that come along with an advertising agency. So I found that, being able to also lead with our flaws, right? Like that's the thing. I think that when we get out of prison, we have that scarlet letter on us. It's a lot of shame tied up in that. And so, cats don't want to just lead with that. Oh, I went to prison,
Right.
Maybe amongst us, right? Maybe in the hood,
for sure.
It's almost like a badge of honor to be like, oh, I survived prison. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I did that. I sat down for that time. I did, right, for real though. And that's a real thing that we could talk about for a whole segment. Yeah, that's a real thing, right, man. Yeah.
So it becomes a badge of honor. But in corporate America, when you're looking to get a job from somebody or a leg up from somebody, you might tend to conceal the fact that you have criminal history. And so for us, I think that was also our advantage, because there's never been an advertising agency powered by incarcerated or formerly incarcerated people.
Right.
That people in corporate America are fascinated by that, right? They're like, absolutely, oh shit, like, tell me more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, and you worked with such and such, and you did this. Oh, y'all absolutely just people. And so being able to kind of lead with that flaw, or at least what you think would be a deficit rather than an asset, the same way it becomes an asset to you in the hood when you're saying, oh, I just, came home and did that, and cats will bless you, look out for you, put you on. It really was the same concept in corporate America. It's just, people wanted to put us on. Like, oh shit, these dudes are underdogs. You know what I'm saying? Like, people count them out. Oh, look at what they're doing. So, a lot of times I think we hurt ourselves with the way that we think. And so if there was anything that I could say to anybody, is like, being your true self, telling your truth.
This is how I know you my bro. This is how I know you my bro. And the universe put you here. I don't make friends. All my friends is by accident. I just posted something on Facebook, and I'm going to paraphrase. I said, being yourself is the easiest thing that you can do. If you can't be yourself, it's either them or you. So you need to pull off pull up.
And that's the truth. Like a lot of people feel, and you find that a lot in corporate America. Like you have these brands dumping billions with B's into riding trends, into riding waves, trying to do something somebody else did, and not necessarily reinvent the wheel or step outside of the box. But when you think about somebody who's been to prison, like those are the original out of the box thinkers, right? Like those are the original people that don't go along with what everybody else doing.
Exactly.
And so being able to embrace that is actually a breath of fresh air in a world full of copycats. Like you think about hip hop, like it was a time in hip hop where you could not sound like somebody else. You could not live like
tell them again,
rap
bro.
about shit that you didn't live.
You had to be original. And we respected it. If you had lyricism, if you kept it real, and you know, as black people, we love an underdog. Wherever you came from, as long as you ain't beat up no old ladies and molested no kids, we gonna let you in here. What you got going on? You know what I mean?
Right,
Tell
but
us something.
I think what I'm getting at is America loves an underdog. It ain't just us, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we get so caught up in the idea of other groups not accepting our true selves that we limit our interactions.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I found interesting when I came home from prison is, like, you know how when you in the streets, you know, we taught to not introduce nobody to your plug.
Period.
Right? And so
unless that's your people that can show up when you're not there and you trust them and they've never done no weird shit.
But that's a cultural thing with us.
Absolutely.
But what I've noticed is white folks have no problem saying, "Oh shit, you got to meet my friend Vincent." Like, they put you in a group text, like, you know what I'm saying? They'll connect you with a person they think that you will vibe with and work with.
Bro.
And so
the next time I see you, this is offline. I need to see you. Like, you need to sit down with me, yo. My brain, yo, it's finna blow your mind. I'm with you. 100%. But you're right, though. Like, white people have been doing it different in the way you should. If you somebody retarded son and you know how to throw up drywall, anytime somebody needs drywall, they gonna recommend your stupid ass because they know you know how to do drywall.
Right,
and you gonna go do that. Yeah.
That's the point that I'm making is, like, culturally, we don't be wanting to plug each other in. But the world don't think like that. When they see that underdog that they rooting for, they want to stack the odds in your favor.
Yeah.
And so I've learned to adopt that as a model. And I think, you know, you can attest to it, where it's not just me saying this, you know, on an interview, but, like, you know, you wanted to plug in with a certain, you know, influencer for a movie idea. Like, that was nothing but giving the phone number to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Oh no, go ahead. Like, it's all of that kind of stuff that determines a person's success. Because if you get what you give, if you the type of person that hoards resources, their resources won't be given to you. Right?
Bruh.
And so you have to kind of think of it in that respect. It's like, all right, I'm not going to gatekeep so people don't gatekeep against me.
Get into it. But I'm going to tell you even deeper, bro. Like, when your mind is on the black nation and you're not a hater for real, because the world, after slavery, the world set you up to be a hater. They made us against each other. What Willie Lynch said, the light against the dark, the old against the young, the man against the woman. When you're not a hater and it come from your heart, every time I'm in any room, I'm thinking about my peoples. Okay, dude say he need a flyer. I know somebody who will make them. Dude say he need a banner. I know somebody who make them. Your heart has to be open in this work, because that's how we live, man. Before integration happened, bro, it was segregation. We was like made to fuck with each other. You know what I'm saying? For lack of a better term.
Right.
And we was good. You know what I'm saying? But that deep entranced teaching of hating, we're going to call it what it is, was put into us for a reason. And I look forward to the day that everybody that looks like us is mad about that shit. I can never be a hater. That's why me and Tia get along. When she put on her best dress and her shoes and her earrings, I'm like, yo, hold up. Let me get your picture, baby.
Right.
Everybody can't do that.
Those things are important, and I think those are like little subtle changes that the folks behind the wall can start to adopt now. Like, because even in prison, it's like,
absolutely,
you can't necessarily, you gotta gatekeep in a certain regard, right? If you got a phone in there, you can't just let everybody on the yard know, because niggas are telling them.
Because somebody gonna fold. Kind of somebody finna tell everything.
Yeah, so it's all of those kind of things where I understand why, it's like that. But what I'm suggesting is these are little things that you can like start to change in your mind while you sitting down, and you can test it with little incidences where you can really understand what I'm saying when I say, like, you get what you give, or like in terms of like the Bible or the Quran, like you reap what you sow type situation is like,
absolutely,
your intention behind things also manifests in the real world. And so if your intention is to see everybody win, it's almost a universal law to nature that you win.
Exactly. Because God, like, okay, I see you and I got you. But if your heart ain't right, it's never gonna work out. And sometimes it will.
I mean, it may.
See, that's what I was about to say, bro.
For the time being.
That's what I was about to say. Sometimes it will, because the devil got a little, you know what I mean? He got a little razzle dazzle, but it will never follow through to the end when it matters.
Yeah, and I think the other part that I would just leave with the people is like don't be afraid to write your shit down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta chart your course. You gotta map out.
Say that shit again, bro. Don't be afraid to write your shit down.
To write it down. Like, you gotta chart your course. Like, that's one of the best things that you can do, because now you always got a reference to go back to and make sure you on track. If you saying, I want to accomplish this, and this is like goes into the whole idea of a plan versus a goal, right?
Yeah.
The goal is the end result, right? The goal is the vision.
Right.
You know,
because we all want to be millionaires. We all want to be millionaires, but how you gonna get there?
And that's where you gotta have the plan, right? The plan is the steps that it's gonna take to get there. And if you're not putting those things down on paper, you have nothing to go back to. I know we kind of live a life of having everything in our head, whether it's our accounting, we doing our own accounting in our mind, all of those things, because a lot of the stuff that we had to do had to be off the books. But, if you have any plans on coming home and not living that same type of life, there's a bit of structure and discipline that comes along with writing down how you plan on being a millionaire, or how you plan on building that company. Like, right. You have to have a plan. You know what I'm saying? And so that's like two of the most important things, is like, you get what you give and chart your course. Like, it's like two things that I personally live by, and that works for me.
Right. For sure, bro.